Hi traders, Mandy here from High Performance Trading. So about 4 weeks ago, I unloaded my dishwasher early in the morning and I was reaching down to get the cutlery out, and guess what? I hurt my back so bad. Apparently that's quite a common occurrence, which I wasn't aware of. Otherwise I would have been more careful. So, oh my God, it was so painful. I was crawling on all fours and oh my God, it was so painful. So lucky me, around the corner is an osteopath and he had a cancellation that day, so I could see him quite quickly. And you know what? This incident became the best thing that ever happened to me in the last, I don't know, 10 years. So, I mean, there was other good things that happened to me in the last 10 years, but that was just so life-changing seeing this osteo. It was really interesting. Before he started working on my back, he did a full assessment from head to toe about how my body was aligned, or rather misaligned. And he immediately said, you know, there's something with your shoulder. And I told him, yeah, in 2008, I had a little ski incident and I fell flat on my shoulder. And it wasn't broken, but it was badly bruised and it really hurt. And I actually couldn't ski anymore. And since then, it has been a source of pain and a source of, really trouble. I mean, I couldn't reach my arm above my shoulder, right? And look what I can do now. Wow, freedom. And so he did that, right? In 5 minutes. He said, look, you know, your shoulder is out of the socket a little, and that, you know, tears on the muscles and the ligaments, and that's where your neck pain comes from. I didn't even tell him about my neck pain, like he knew. And so he fixed it as well in 5 minutes. He just put it back in, and the so he clicked the shoulder back in, and instantly had a relief and all the muscles, and it was just, my neck was relieved. It was, oh my God, I felt like a new person, 10 years younger, I can tell you that. So what was interesting is that every physio and chiro I have seen, like I tell you, it was not for lack of trying to have this damn shoulder fixed. Everyone was just working on the symptom. No one was working on the root problem. And, you know, I got really sad because, I mean, it's been 15 years that I was been walking around with this shoulder, and no one really bothered to do a really good job and have a look at what happened to my shoulder and why it was not getting any better. And then, you know, here this guy figures it out in 5 minutes because he was doing a whole body approach. I wasn't just a, you know, 5 vertebrae person for him. I was like a whole unit with, you know, he was asking about my my life experience and, you know, where my life is out of alignment as well, not just my body, because our body, of course, is a reflection of our life. So, yeah, that was such an amazing relief. And then I started to trust him. And I knew that he's a soccer player, so I asked him about VO2 max. In Peter Adhere's book, Outlive, he talks about that your VO2 max and also your emotional health is one of the key ingredients to longevity. Now, everybody talks about nutrition and getting enough sleep, but he's the first one I've been hearing talking about VO2 max and emotional health. And maybe there were others that weren't in my awareness, but you know, for me, he was my first one. So I asked Gabe about, you know, what I can do about my breathing, because I can run and my muscles don't get tired, but I run out of breath so quick, especially since these, you know, years of being stuck at home and not being able to move much during COVID. And it was really interesting. I actually also put out a tweet on Twitter asking about increasing VO2 max, and everybody came just back with, you know, run faster, run slower, do HIIT, right? So high impact, and like all kinds of ideas on what to do differently. But the doing wasn't the problem. The problem was, and again, Gabe found that out really, really quickly, the problem was my ribs, and the muscles in my ribs were just so tight, especially, you know, sitting again all day. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I hold my breath a lot when I'm in the markets and I'm trading. So, and also what he started doing was he started releasing the muscles in my rib cage, and also worked on the diaphragm right below the rib cage. And I tell you, it was 10 minutes of, I call it tickle torture, because it's just so ticklish, and I'm super hypersensitive, but you know, I made it, self-control. And it was so worth it. I went running immediately afterwards, and I had a 25% improvement on how far I could run immediately. So you see, it's again, everybody was answering with what to do differently. Like in trading, the problem is not to be more disciplined and to be more, to tell yourself to, I don't know, don't go on tilt, be strong, don't do it. No, the problem is always something else. The problem is never the problem. And you need to find someone like, my osteo, who knows really well what the root causes are for each problem. And then it can be fixed in no time, right? So I hope this is really useful for you. And needless to say that Gabe is now part of my success team. And yeah, I can recommend everyone to try an osteo and have someone who's taking care of your health in your team as well, because you can't perform under stress, you can't perform, in the heat of the moment and take the heat, having the trade going against you, holding out until your stop loss is being hit when you are highly stressed and, your nervous system is already wrecked. Like, there is no chance for you. So I hope, again, this is useful, and happy trading.